Alright, I'm in my office. What's going on YouTube? We are going to talk about a clutch. Alright, I was trying to determine what caused this chain. You like all my Hercules bags. They're all full of tools. They're piled up in my office to take with me in the mornings, depending on what I'm doing. There's a reason for them. Okay. Jungle Jim. Sit down here. Anyway, I was going to determine why the chain keeps popping off. And parts list, it's all here. Clutch. There's a washer goes under the clutch. That's there and that's there. This is a new clutch drum housing I bought. It's all new. I don't know what caused it to jump off. Son of a hoochie mama. But that goes like that. And here's what we're going to talk about: weed eaters. This is called a centrifugal clutch. Same freaking thing. It's on a weed eater, basically. See it? You see it? It uses inertia. When this thing spins, the arrow always tells you which way to take it off, by the way, from my interactions with it. Alright, so what it does is, it's pretty self-explanatory. See how the grooves are cut? When that thing spins, the faster it spins, it uses inertia to move these shoes, pads, whatever you want to call them, the technical term. And you see on the inside this clutch drum? See that? What it does is, as this thing spins, it lets out those shoes, and those shoes come into contact. So see, look, I can put this thing back on here. I'm not going to all the way. See, the drum moves freely, so when you crank the chainsaw up, God, when I was wiping off the chainsaw, I got some of the freaking crud in the floor, and it's driving me crazy. It expands, it grabs a hold of this drum right here, and then this drum's what's attached to the cog that drives the chain. Weed eaters, same way. Imagine, see this right here? Here's your clutch. This is what everybody talks about. Burning up the clutch. Like it's some kind of magical unicorn with fairy dust and magic that controls this machine. Well, here it is, boys. I didn't pay $30 for this one, I don't think. I got the other one that come with it in the building. It wasn't even that much, I don't think. That's it. This is what you're burning up. This is what I hear on Lawn Pros. If you're not a member, join on my face group page. Our group Lawn Pros was the first ones on Facebook. Get on there and you'll hear people talk about that all the time. It drives me crazy. You're going to burn up the clutch. Oh, this thing? Who cares? I mean, literally, who gives a flying crap if you do burn it up? It's going to do nothing. Now, if you get in real thick grass and stuff, the trimmer will still have enough power to... Man, this is a hard lock. This ain't like it barely touches. And now that it barely touches, it's able to spin. This thing hits hard, yo. That's what she said. So don't even say it. That thing is hard. When it's that inertia is hitting it, spinning that engine, it ain't going to give. That's why you hear that. Have you ever noticed when you're weed eating thick stuff, the engine bogs down? Why is that? Let's think about that for just a second. That's because this clutch is attached to the... Well, if it was a car, it'd be a pressure plate and throwout bearing, but this clutch is hooked to the drum. So hard that the engine loses RPM before it slips. If it was slipping when you was weed eating, the engine would stay the same, but the head would slow down, right? Right? Are you with me? Do you understand? But it don't. What does that tell you? That tells you this clutch is not slipping. And slipping is what tears up a clutch. Or burns up a clutch. Do you see what I'm saying here? Do you see now? Hopefully this will kill that stigma that this is a fairy magical dust of... It's not a transmission in a car. It's not that It's simple. This stuff is simple. Now this one goes to a chainsaw, but they're all the same. Yeah, that's it. This is what you're burning up. I'm going to try to... I've got a bore scope, and I just put it in the piston. And this thing has some advanced scorching on the exhaust side. And what I've read, that's very normal. It's a 40-to-1 saw. So, I use 50-to-1 in it, but it's synthetic. Synthetic oil supersedes the mixture ratios. As long as you got it 50-to-1 synthetic, that replaces 40-to-1 traditional dyno oil. Don't believe me? Look it up. But I've cleaned it all up. I need to finish cleaning the oiler out a little bit. I see some gunk on her. Now you're going to say, how did I get this off? Well, some people use the rope method. Wait a minute. Let's go back to weed eaters a minute. Now, the longer it goes, it will bog the engine down. But let's talk about that again. That will not hurt this clutch. Why? Because it's bogging the engine down. That means this is a Loctite clutch. And even if it does slip a little bit, who cares? And a two-stroke bogging down is, who cares? Two-stroke is so, it's very vicious, but it has 3 moving parts in it for crying. There ain't nothing to them. That's why they'll last. Now, if you buy some other frickin' Walmart thing, and you really expect even the clutch to be adequate, it's not going to be. When you buy these half cranks, like that crap at Walmart, don't expect you to even do anything with one of those things. I'm talking real equipment. They put like pop metal in. Have you ever taken one apart? And a clutch is almost never the problem anyway. That's what's funny. Most problem with small two-strokes is ethanol. And that's a fact. I could talk for hours. But anyway, the bar is warped a little bit. So I'm going to order a new bar. I could straighten it out with a vise and stuff possibly. But it is such a minute warp that I don't think I'm skilled enough to make it. It's probably within margin of error. In other words, this bar, it's probably good enough to run for a long time. But I'm still going to put it back together. I cleaned out the oiler ports. In case y'all don't know, there's little holes on these bars for the oil. See that one clogged up there? That one's nice and clean. And that's how the bar gets oil to it on the inside of the bar. Oregon makes this one. This is a Poland Pro, not to be confused with the Poulin. I don't know why people call these things Poulins. I mean, does it look like Winnie the Pooh? Look at that. You see what that is? Don't think that's my house being nasty. That is that oil out of this chainsaw. Oil and sawdust. So if you see that in the floor, I apologize. But anyway, you see Winnie the Pooh owning this chainsaw? No. It's not a Poolan. It's not P-O-O. It's P-O-U-L-A-N. And to take the cog off, you can use a rope down in the piston and pull on this. Or you can actually use the tool. Now I'll stick some pictures somewhere in here. I forgot if I said it already, of the bore scope. How bad the scorching. Where's my motherfucking crescent wrench? Y'all see it? Yep, it fell. It's got some advanced scorching on the exhaust port. It's not bad. When you see these pictures, it's going to look real bad. But remember, this bore scope, I didn't know I put it in there that tight. That's what she said. This bore scope picture you're going to see. Dang it. This bore scope picture you're going to see is going to look so much more worse than it really is. Remember that. Because it zooms it in so strong. So don't think it's as bad as what it looks, but you can see what's called advanced scorching. It's where it's digging. It gets real hot. Here's the tool. It goes right into the piston. Spark plug hole. Spark plugs in a two-stroke set dead top of center. Unless you're an Echo or Shindawa. For some reason they make theirs So that means there's the CC on top. And you know, another thing why Echo has such a wide engine is because if you put a spacer between the carburetor and the engine, you're creating a larger volume. So you'll have more space for more gas and air to go in there to force itself into the piston, over the piston, resulting in, it's more torque. So, if you're wondering why Echo does that, you see her displacement. CC is a unit of measurement. It's not the size of the engine. It's how much gas and oil is mixed above the piston. And then when it's coming up, it compresses that. When it comes up, it compresses that air and gas mix, and then this spark plug on top ignites, blows up, and pushes that piston down violently, very violently. That's what's called a combustion engine. If I had a flashlight, I would light it up for you. I got the bore scope, but anyway, listen, you can hear it, you can see the... I know a lot of people ain't never even done this, so that's why I'm trying to show you. The piston looks real good, it's just the scorching on the... Hear how easy I can pull it? Compression ain't building up in it at all, because that's spark plugs missing. But anyway, I'm done with this. This video was probably way too long, just for me to fuss about a clutch. But again, remember, these pictures I'm going to put somewhere in here are going to look a lot worse than they are, because it is blown up. It's not going to hurt it yet. Nowhere near hurting it. So don't think, oh my gosh, it's junk. No, it's not junk. It's just advanced wearing. The intake and all the way around it. I've got a bunch of pictures I took. Why am I trying to use a freaking crescent wrench to tighten my spark plug up when I got a scrunch right here? Oh, that's the wrong scrunch. That's what she said. What'd I do with my scrunch? It don't matter. I lost my scrunch. Anyway, this is a Poland Pro, if you're wondering. PP 5020AV. It's 50cc. It's actually made by Husqvarna because they own Poland Pro. But Poland Pro has some made at the Poland Weed Eater plant. From what I've researched, Poland, of course, is owned, just like Weed Eater and Red Max, by Husqvarna. Husqvarna makes some of these at one of their Husqvarna factories that makes the chainsaws in America. I think that's where this one's from, because if not, it would have a sticker on it that says, go to Lowe's and see the cheaper ones. The cheap Polands will have a sticker. It says, you'll see it, it's written right on it. It says, Poland Pro and Weed Eater. The more expensive Polands, which is kind of an oxymoron because they're all real cheap. This was over $200, but now you can get, these are on sale at Tractor Supply right now for $179. I about bought another one. I like them that good. And if they got a little, like, see right here, okay, you see that? Do you see that? I don't know. You see that little H? That's Husqvarna's logo. You see that? So hypothetically, now, do they put the same grade bearings in here on the crank and stuff as they do the Husqvarna brand? I seriously doubt that. Do they put the same lining in the block? I don't know if it's the same. It could have the same numbers, but a little different because of the lining. And the piston from the one I looked at online. Now, I don't know about every model. I do not manufacture either or. But there is limited knowledge online about these. So this is made supposedly at the Husqvarna plant. That's why it's so good. But of course, it's going to have cheaper innards. because it was $200 and some instead of a freaking 50/20. The 450 Rancher would be its comparison. Is like $400 almost. This one's $200. So you know the innards ain't gonna be. Holy crap! 20 minutes. I'll be editing this down a lot for y'all. I could talk for another hour, but that's all. Peace out.